Hi everyone. Today I am going to share about simple steps to learn faster and smarter. So this video helps the people who are all involved in teaching learning process. You may be a student or you may be a professor or school teacher. Uh, we need to learn faster because to teach students and audience we have to grasp the things faster and we have to deliver the things in a smarter way. So if we are in the position as a student, we need to observe the things which are all delivered by the professor or teacher. So this I hope this article will help you, the students and professors, to learn the things faster and smarter. So first we need to uh, address the issue about the learning obstacles. So there are some obstacles uh, which the students or the professors, which it is difficult to observe the things. So the people are unable to learn quickly and effectively because of these reasons. So let us discuss the reasons. So the first obstacle is struggle to kickstart learning something from the scratch. So what is this? Maybe you have probably experienced yourself sometimes when you wanting to learn uh, something new. It is very difficult to find where to start. Okay. Because of the scattered information, scattered data. When you are browsing internet, when you are reading a book, uh, it may be anything, or when you are observing contents from video or anything, it is very difficult to grasp the informations which are all scattered. So it is very we are struggling where to start our reading. So it is a major obstacle. Then the second obstacle is about struggling to recall what you have learned. The content we already learned, when you want to remember, every day we are facing issues because we are struggling. What are all the things learned in the previous sessions or previous lecture, and it is very difficult to recall. When you think back about your school days, I am sure there were endless times when you were taught the things by the teachers, and probably you'll forget the informations which are all delivered by the teachers even a minute before or even an hour before or a day before. When the teacher enters in the next class, uh, they will recap about the things what they handled, but probably it is very difficult to recall all the things. Then the third obstacle is um, struggling to put what you have learned into practice. So we are learning many things. Um, this is maybe this is certainly one of the most common reason for the people failing into learn new things, because they spend their all time learning theory, but they're never putting into practice. So theoretically, we learn many things, but we are not practicing. Probably, if you take any engineering course or any science and arts course, uh, we are all learning many theoretical things. But in practical, if you want to implement all the things, so we forget many things what we learned in the theory classes. So these are all the obstacles. So before going to know about the steps or the simple ways for effective and smarter learning, we supposed to know the types of learning methods. So here I have shared the learning methods. So there are some learning methods where the audience or observers usually following. So the first method is visual learning. So the name itself indicate visualization. So the learner could learn the things by means of watching videos or seeing the presentations or the contents embedded with the pictures, chart, graphs. So this is the visual representation, so where the learners can learn by seeing the photographs, videos, and PowerPoint presentations. So usually in classroom observations, we can able to find this kind of learning method, visual learning method. Then auditory learning. So auditory learning means, so it is best. This method is best suited for individuals who make traveling or who spending time in their room, so they listen lectures by means of audiobooks. So there are some podcasts, audiobooks are there in the internet, apps are there. So they can subscribe the audiobooks and podcast in the apps. So they can plug in their earphones or headphones, so they can simply learn by hearing. And the third method is reading and writing learning. So this is the best method which is suited for someone who likes reading and writing. So they'll write something in a paper, and they'll read it again, and they'll learn uh, the things what we written in the contents. Okay, especially for example books and magazines, websites, they refer many things, and they'll read in the sheet of paper, and they'll record the things. And the fourth type is physical learning. So physical learning means the person who involved in activities like hands-on training. Many times we used to tell like hands-on training, hands-on workshops. Okay, so this is the best method where uh, the learners can implement their learned things in a practice. So they start learn by their learning start by means of what do you call it, practice sessions. So now we'll see about how to. So we already discussed about the obstacles for learning and the types of learning. So we are having some idea about the learning. Next we discuss how to learn smarter and faster. So the first um, foremost method is digital brain. So what is digital brain? Whether um, uh, we are handling so much of data in our brain. So our brain has a tendency to remember the things, but sometimes it fails. We unable to remember the things what we learned in the previous sessions or previous lectures. So for that, so we have to make a digital copy of the data, so that it will easily remembered by the persons. So you put simply a digital brain is an app or a piece of software that allows you quickly record and recall the informations which you already stored. So here I have listed some of the digital brain tools like Airtable, Apple Notes, Evernote, Google Keep, Pocket. So these are all the applications where you can store the informations, and you can retrieve the informations at any point of time. So the chance of forgetting the things can be nullified if you use this digital brain. And the second method is spaced repetition. So what is spaced repetition? Uh, so spaced repetition means you are discretizing the things. You are splitting the learned things into many parts. So here I have listed the methods um, to adapt the spaced repetition. So the first thing is review your notes. So when you are in the position to observe any lecture or any meeting, so you have to review your notes within 24 hours of initial intake of informations. So write down the things what you learned in the session or what you learned from the meeting. So during reviewing session, read your notes, but then look away and try to recall the most important points. Okay, we already taken the notes, class notes or meeting notes. So you just recall the things and write it again, whether the things are recalled by you or not. You can clarify. Okay. Then the second thing is recall the information for the first time. Uh, After a day, try to recall the informations with minimal reading of your notes. So we have already written the notes, you know. So after a day, you have to recall the informations. Not It is not advisable to read the entire content. Read some of the important points, whether you can able to remember the contents or not. Uh, like like way you have to uh, recall the information. So you might also want to try recalling the informations when you are taking a walk or sitting down or you are in relaxed position. You just recall the things when wherever you are going or you are sitting somewhere or you are walking to some positions, some places. You can recall the contents, then recall the material again. So next, maybe after 24 or 36 hours, maybe several days, you can, you don't know how to be a lengthy recalls. So instead you could do while standing in a queue or when you are walking with your friends, or maybe you are going to walking with your dog. uh, you have to recall the things what you learned in the sessions. Then study it over again. So after several days has passed since you first tried to learn the informations, take out the material and study it over again and again. This will allow your brain to reprocess concepts and will cement the informations into your mind. So the third practice is deliberate practice. So you can see the picture. It mainly focuses on the contents what we learn. So deliberate practice is a technique of breaking down the skill you want to acquire into separate components. So you master each individual part of the skill. So here I have listed some of the deliberate practice. One is break the information down into small and meaningful chunks. So a lot of informations we always used to learn, but it is difficult to store the data and retrieve the data. So you have to break the informations into some of the important points as some of meaningful chunks. So like hints development, you can able to easily recall these small points. Then create a learning schedule. Many time we are not following the learning practices as per the schedule. So we have to create a schedule in a schedule planner or a diary. So you have to adhere the schedule for your learning. Then third is get a mentor or coach. So if you want to learn something, um, you always it is better advisable to get a mentor or coach for the particular area of specialization, so that your learning outcomes can be fulfilled. You can easily and fastly learn something rather than if you go for self study. It will take much time to learn. So instead you go for self study, you can prefer a coach or a mentor. If you learn by a mentor or coach, the time span of learning may be almost reduced to minimum. Then continually seek feedback. So when you learn something, you have to deliver the contents with your mentor or coach. You can ask feedback from your mentor or coach. Then the fourth thing is feedback loop. So anything you are doing, you have to get the feedback. Since we are all involved in teaching learning activity, we are delivering uh, a lot of contents, and the students are observing the contents. So you have to give the feedback to the students and you have to ask the feedback from the students. So feedback is a process whereby the learner gathers the information about the performance and leverages it to optimize the quality of their learning style and methods. So here I have listed the stages of feedback. So first stage is practice or apply. So this is the stage where you put what you learn into a what you what the things you are learned into a practice or action. So after practice, what you have to do? So you have to measure. So this is the stage where you can acquire the informations about your performance. So this uh, uh, this is also a stage where learners typically ignore or do ineffectively. So where uh, you already learned something, so you have to apply or put into your action. Upon action, you have to assess the data. During assessment, you can find the gap between the uh, learning things and putting into a action. Then the third is learn. So this is a stage where you can analyze how well you performed and make adjustment to improve and practice apply again. So if there is any gap, you have to fill the gap by learning it again. So I hope this video will help you uh, for your learning failures into success. Thanks for listening video. Thank you so much.